Hi, I'm Dr. Ravi Luka, Medical Director at Bupa, and welcome to this Academy module where today we're discussing the topic of neurodiversity. Neurodiversity refers to the way in which brain function and behavioural traits can vary from person to person. Just as you might be born right-handed or have green eyes, how your brain works and where you sit on the cognitive spectrum will be unique to you. The majority of people may be described as neurotypical since they fall within the expected range, whereas others who fall outside that range due to conditions such as autism, ADHD and dyslexia could be described as neurodivergent. In the UK, it's estimated that around 15% of people are neurodivergent, affecting how they both interpret and process information. Given the wide range of neurodivergent conditions and the fact that they can affect different people in different ways, it's perhaps not surprising that less than half of managers say they feel capable and confident when it comes to supporting neurodivergent individuals at work. However, as a manager, it's important to get to know your team and understand what they need and when in order to help them overcome certain challenges and reach their full potential at work. I'm now joined by two Bupa colleagues to discuss their lived experiences as both a team member and line manager around dealing with neurodiversity in the workplace. Rob, Lou, thanks for joining us today.
Hi.
Hello. So Rob, if we start with yourself, firstly, can you tell us about your neurodivergence, when it was diagnosed and how it affects you in the workplace?
Yeah, so I've always had all of my neurodivergences. Obviously, I was born with them, but they were actually diagnosed in stages. So first of all, I was diagnosed with dyslexia around about 9 or 10 years old in primary school. Moving on throughout high school, thought I only had dyslexia, and it was only during a disabled student allowance assessment that it was actually sort of raised that I also had or might have dysgraphia, ADD at the time, but it's now known as inattentive ADHD, and a little bit of dyspraxia. But because that was where the conversation ended, no one mentioned about getting extra support, or only for the past few years in my working life that I've had a community of other neurodiverse people around me that I've started to actually learn a lot more about myself as well, and learn how the dyslexia and the inattentive ADHD actually combine, and things that I thought were just caused by one actually is caused by a combination. And that's been really, really transformative, like understanding more about myself and my neurodiversity.
Yeah, it's great to hear that kind of journey of self-discovery linked to your diagnoses. And I think it's really common with neurodiversity that actually a diagnosis is a great thing. It's a freeing thing to understand more about yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Lou, Rob's touched there on his neurodivergence. Can you tell me a bit about, from a line manager's perspective, how you use that to support him in the workplace?
I think we started with just really open communication, and I had this kind of eagerness to learn about him to make sure that we could work together to make sure that he could thrive at work. And as Rob's described, he's been really open about his neurodiversity. He's part of the community in the workplace. So I was aware that he had a certain level of comfort in talking about it. So I just went with that. I suppose being cautious and careful of making sure that I'm not overstepping the mark and making sure I'm not being insensitive in any way. Yeah. But I hope that has been successful.
Thanks, Lou. And what I love from doing all these conversations is that people such as yourself in the line managing capacity think of the person first and are really inquisitive to learn more about that individual and their condition, whether in this case neurodiversity, and tailor the workplace adjustments to them. Rob, having the confidence to speak to your line manager about your neurodiversity is one thing, but getting to a stage where you're able to talk to them about exactly what you need is another. Can you tell me a little bit about that journey for you?
Yes, I wasn't always this confident opening up about my neurodiversity. For most of my life, have been doing something called masking, which is where you sort of hide the fact that you actually have any kind of neurodiversity. The one thing you really don't want is to be treated differently. And so I was always hiding from that fact through all of my education and all of my working life as well until I'm doing the role I'm in now. And so having the actual confidence to open up to anyone, not just a manager, about this, even friends, is really, really challenging. It's really, really tough. I really commend anyone that is actually able to talk about it openly, because it is a challenge to, admit that I do need support. I do need help, it doesn't make me any less.
Yeah.
But I just need that little extra. And it's not preferential or special treatment or anything like that. And when you are able to finally start to feel comfortable talking about it, you realize there was nothing really to be worried about. There was nothing to be shy about. You're not going to get ridiculed. No one's going to belittle you. You are going to get, or you should be able to get the support that you need to move forward, to be your best. If you're using 10% of your ability, just hiding the fact, imagine what you could be doing with that extra 10%. When you start to understand that and you start to talk about these things, you can actually collaborate with people and learn different ways of working as well. I've tried 100 different things, but everybody's different. Everybody's neurodiversity is different. It affects everyone in different ways. So although I've tried 100 different things, only 10 things work for me.
Yeah.
I come into the office a little bit more than I need to, and that everybody else does, because I focus better in the office.
Yeah.
I have noise cancelling headphones to block out the world around me, so I can just focus on the thing that I need to focus on.
Yeah.
Using a text to speech software, so things read to me. Before I started feeling comfortable and opening up, I used to think, I can't use that, it's lazy. But it's not lazy, it's just understanding how your brain works, it's understanding how you work and adapting to that.
A really important message, and I think you're giving your story, Rob, really also helps destigmatize neurodiversity, and especially how we can help in the workplace.
Thank you.
And Lou, as Rob's line manager, you must have experienced firsthand how those small adjustments can have a huge impact for someone like Rob, working with neurodiversity in the workplace.
So, yeah, working with Rob, from the off, we've both had this desire to make sure that we're working together really effectively. And Rob's got an array of strengths that I was really keen to tap into and optimise. So one of Rob's key strengths is his tenacity. He is fantastic at working to a deadline. He's a great asset to the team. And when we've got a deadline in place, he's unstoppable. So we switched some project responsibilities around within the team, and Rob then took over a project that has a monthly rhythm of activity. It's a fixed deadline every month, and there's a lot of chasing to do, stakeholder management and gathering of information. But since taking on this task, Rob has soared. Things are on time and delivered. He really's got full ownership of the end-to-end project, and it's been a really good move for the team, and he's a real asset to the team because he's got full ownership of this project.
Thanks, Lou. I think that's a fantastic example for any line manager about how an adjustment can unleash people like Rob's potential in the workplace.
Yeah.
And Rob, to round off the conversation, what would you say to somebody watching this who's neurodiverse, who doesn't know how to kind of open up at work and talk about it?
Sure. So I think it's, first of all, really important just to be kind to yourself. You can often put a lot of pressure on yourself from having a neurodiversity and having all the challenges that come with that, and feeling like you have to be better than yourself to help develop the ways you work. The best thing to do is really speak to people, and bounce off people as well. It doesn't have to be your line manager, although that can be a really, really positive thing as well, because they can see things that you might not be able to.
Yeah.
It's really important as well to understand that your company has already invested so much into you. They're not going to stop now just because you're asking for help. You being your best helps the company to be at their best, helps them to work at their best. So why would they not want you to ask for help? There is that worry that by asking for help, things may change, you may be looked down on, but often it's not like that. But when you do take that step, I think you will find that it is beneficial for you.
Yeah, it's a great message. And what I love about your story, Rob, is you've really used your neurodiversity to learn more about yourself. And doing that allows you to tell your line manager to be able to say what makes me tick or work best in the workplace. So in that vein, Lou, same question really, for somebody that might, potentially struggle to open up about their neurodiverse condition, what advice would you give to line managers around that?
I think there's a ground base of solid research that you can do, and I just mean Google, and we've got some great resources. We've got a great neurodiversity line managers guide and a great neurodiversity page with rafts of information on there. But then I think it's about going straight to the person and getting to know them directly. So, I'm fully aware that not everybody is going to be as comfortable as Rob is. Rob's already had a massive journey before we've had our working relationship. So, there's going to be some more cautiousness maybe from others. Yeah. So as a line manager, you need to be aware of that and maybe more sensitive to those situations. So opening up the conversation to let them know that you're there, but waiting for them to be ready.
Yeah.
It might feel quite daunting thinking that you've got to understand somebody's brain chemistry and understand the wide array of neurodiverse conditions that there are. Yeah. But I think it's just important to think about the actual person, bring it back to your team member and trying to understand them as a person and how they tick and how how you can optimise their skills in the workplace.
It's best for them to come to you, to ask for help, to ask for support and bounce off them. Try not to come with answers. Come with an open mind. Yeah. That would be the best thing.
Yeah. And as well as the grounding of research that you can do online, speak to HR, speak to people's services for that support and that kind of initial conversation. But then, bring it back to the person.
Yeah, great. And I think I've heard that in all of these conversations about it's okay not to have all the answers.
Exactly, yeah.
We don't have to come with, X, Y, Z to say do this and do that. It's not how it works. It's a process and you have to listen to the individual. Lou, Rob, thanks so much for joining us today. Rob, for talking about your story and your neurodiversity. It's been really great to hear your journey and all the kind of adjustments you've made both at home and in the workplace as well.
Thank you.
Thanks for me.
Thank you for watching this Academy module on neurodiversity. Today we've heard one person's story, but it's important to remember that everyone's experience of neurodiversity is different. Line managers will never immediately have all the answers, but the most important thing is to create an inclusive culture where employees feel supported and able to express their needs, as only then will you be able to work with them to create a more inclusive and productive work environment. For more tools and support for dealing with health and wellbeing issues in the workplace, head to Bupa's Workplace Academy webpage at www.bupa.co.uk/academy. You can access our online hub providing both line managers and team members with practical and emotional support to educate, build resilience and help navigate neurodiversity together. Thanks again for watching.